How to keep inspiration coming? Is there anything you can do to come it when you need it? And what to do when you finally get it? This is what we'll discuss in today's episode of Psychology for Marketers. Hi, my name is Magda. I am founder of Psychology for Marketers, and welcome to this week's episode in which we'll talk about inspiration. I want to share with you 4 tips on how to welcome more inspiration in your life and what to do when you get it. So the first thing I want you to really look into is how do you react to inspiration? Or in other words, what is your specialty when it comes to getting inspired? Here's what I mean. Not everybody is the same. On the contrary, we are all wired slightly differently. So there are some people who are really good at getting ideas, and they get a lot of them. Then there are those who are really good at taking these ideas and implementing them, executing on them and making them happen. Then you have those who are really good at maintaining the idea, maintaining the thing, keeping it up, keeping it alive. And finally, you have people who are really good at taking these ideas and improving on them and making them better. So where do you fall in these 4 categories? It's good to know because you have your expertise, you have your specialty, and that's where you really want to focus. So if you're the kind of person who's really good at implementing things, then you don't need to stress too much about getting tons of ideas because they would actually distract you from what you're good at. In my case, I fall into the first category. I get a lot of ideas, but I'm not necessarily the best person to act on them and implement them. And in the past, I used to get quite frustrated because I'd get all these ideas and then I wouldn't know how to execute on them, or I would simply not get excited to do it. I was excited the moment when I got the idea, but then the excitement died. Well, I realized that my job is to get the idea and either implement it if it's something that still excites me, or just pass it on to another person whose expertise is to take it and make it happen. So again, where do you fall? Look at your life, look what excites you the most, and then adjust your expectations for your inspiration from there. The second thing that will help you with inspiration is understanding its nature. So see, I used to be very arrogant, thinking that any inspiration, any idea I ever got was purely my doing. It's because I study a lot, because I'm smart, because I'm hardworking. But I'm far from there right now. In fact, a lot of famous writers say that inspiration is something that comes to them. Often they say it's something that comes from them, to them from God, and all they have to do is just show up, be there when the inspiration comes, and then they channel it into the book. Now, looking at inspiration from this perspective actually has a few benefits. So, first of all, you don't make it personal when you don't get inspiration. So, you don't have to think that, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough. In fact, when it comes to inspiration, we're all entitled to get it. So, you don't have to be a particular person, have any particular skills to get inspiration. Everybody can get it. The second thing that comes from looking at inspiration this way is that it really makes you appreciate it, because at this point inspiration becomes a gift, so you're much more likely to take it when it comes and act on it. And finally, if you know that inspiration is something that comes to you, you can observe situations when you get inspired and try to come up with ideas of what triggers the inspiration for you. Which takes me to point number 3. This is kind of against what you would normally read about creativity and inspiration. But the truth is that if you want to get inspired, you need to stop doing things. Let me explain. If you're super busy, if all your focus is on what you're doing right now, you're just not going to hear the ideas come to you. Imagine you're in a movie theater and you're watching a movie. It's really exciting, so all your focus is on the screen. Would you notice if somebody spilled the drinks a few meters away from you? Likely you wouldn't, because you're watching a movie. Now the same goes with inspiration. If you're so busy doing things, reading, studying, working, inspiration might continuously be coming to your head, but you're just not going to notice it. So the best way to get inspired is just do nothing, relax. And I know we live in a society that praises being busy, but it's really against getting inspiration. So try relaxing. Go for a walk. Sometimes what works for people is going to the gym and workout, or go to sauna, go to spa. In fact, for me, I realized that pretty much every single time I go for a body massage, I get tons of ideas. So now I have another excuse to do it. And in fact, in my case, I really get inspiration. The best ideas I get, they come to me in the weirdest situations ever. For example, about 2 weeks ago, I was getting an MRI for my lower back. If you've never had MRI, it's basically a big tube and they slide you through it. It's quite noisy, so you get headphones to minimize the noise so you don't hear anything. And you have to stay still for 20 minutes. And by still, I mean you can even barely breathe because any body movement is going to ruin the imaging and you have to do it again. So you're there stuck for 20 minutes doing nothing. So that's what I was getting, and I just got this amazing idea for the workshop what I'll be doing next month, and you'll hear about it. But yes, the idea came to me in the most unexpected situation because I was doing nothing. I was fully relaxed. So see what you can do in your life. As I said, a walk, meditation, just sitting in a chair and looking through your window can spark already inspiration to come to you. Now, let me go back to my story about getting MRI. So I'm sitting there for 20 minutes and I got this idea and I'm going through different aspects of what I can do. The second I got out, what I did, I took my notepad and I jotted everything down. And that's your point number 4. Make sure you always have something to write so that you can write those ideas down. See, I know we like to assume that we can memorize everything, but we know very well that our memory is far from being flawless. You're not going to remember things, so don't put this pressure on yourself. Just write things down. I always have a little tiny notepad in my bag with me, and if I don't have it, I'm going to write it in my phone or on my iPad, but I will always write it down. Because the moment when you get the ideas, you're so excited, you're getting so much additional information, you're not going to feel the same way in a few hours or in a few days when you will be likely taking action on it. And when you write things down, don't worry about them making sense. Write everything that comes to your mind. It's not the time to put them together. It's not the time to put a timeline or any logical correlations between those things. You just want to write everything that comes to your mind, no matter how crazy at the moment it looks. And then you come back to it a bit later, and this is when you start putting pieces together. So these are the 4 things to look at and to practice to get more inspiration in your life and to act more on those ideas. And I would love to hear from you. What are some of the craziest moments when you got inspired? What were you doing and what was the idea? Share it in the comment section below this video. I want to hear from you. And if you like this video, please like it and share it with your friends. And if you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to Psychology for Marketers. Simply put your name and email on the side of this video, and this way you're never going to have to worry about missing any more episodes from Psychology for Marketers. And of course, there is much more that I keep only for subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.